Okay. So this is, so no, I mean, yeah, thankfully we timed this out pretty tightly, so we had a little bit of leisure here. Josh and Aldo are gonna make beats live as we do this tonight. So you guys are really in for a treat. This is not just some hit the CD play. They're gonna chop up samples and do live drum machines right here. So I'm really excited about this. Okay. Oh my God. I so honored to be introduced by Megan the Carpenter. I call her Mick
Okay, well, on that note, okay, just to start it off, I kind of prepared a little something. I mean, honestly, like, just to be straight up, there's no words to introduce Tristan. Like, Tristan's not just a peer, like a friend I have at school. Like, Tristan's like a brother to me. Like, he's helped me grow as a person, like, outside of school, and just the conversations that we've had about art and poetry and just life. Like, I owe you so much of, like, who I am right now. The last couple years, like, it's just, I love you to death, and so this is what I got, and it's not going to be enough, but whatever. So, not that you needed to hear it, you could have just freaking did your rap. Okay, so I'm here tonight to introduce Tristan Acker, or how do you call Tristan? Tristan is mostly T or Wiggy. For those of you that don't know Tristan well, he is a poet, hip-hop artist, politician, activist. It is hard for me to separate Tristan poet as Tristan friend. When you hear his work, you will see why. In the real world, outside of language, Tristan is a person you want in your life. I consider Tristan as a best friend, as someone I can call about the travesties of growing up, growing into this world and this system. You can count on him to bring pizza to workshops, to make sure the artistic minds come together. He is a friend who dragged me along to Bob Dylan just because he knew I enjoyed the experience. Someone who gave me a hug after a tearful workshop. Tristan sees life as an adventure, as a story that keeps writing itself. His voice, his beat in this world demands that he is the pilot of his life story. Wiggy is a double threat. I have sat in the back corner of a San Bernardino jazz exchange and listened to he and Sham rap behind the musical stylings of other rap artists in the area. I am a hip-hop enthusiast myself. I'm not saying I'm the law of rap, but I know good hip-hop when I see it, when I feel it. These guys completely blew the others out of the water with their effortless flow, their meaningful lyrics, and intense energy. Tristan's goal is to be the bard of the IE, a poet, a bard, I had to look up the word. It's okay. A bard is a poet traditionally reciting epics associated with an oral tradition, and I can't think of a better suit for expressing our times poetically with the seamless beats of the West Coast Avengers. Tristan focuses his attention on the IE, but what makes it so rich is the details and the interrelationships that are woven throughout the city. We are able to sink into the day-to-day details of how life flows, the intimate relationships between families. To be an artist, you must give a distinct vantage point of the world. Artists shape the way we see the world. Tristan's aim is to paint the IE as cool, to portray the office secretaries like himself with a smidgen of hip-hop's cool and immediate rhythmic relevance. What Tristan is doing in his work is taking what is seemingly boring and brings it into a rhythm that makes it exciting and frankly worth listening to. This skill is an important talent. This skill can make people listen. In our day and age, it's easy to listen to rap songs and hear only the song. You have to seriously block out unintelligent freezing, the nauseous drinking, and the clubs. Tristan's hip-hop breaks the boundaries of what poetry is. What is hip-hop? Hip-hop is its beat. It's the rhythm that you feel in your feet. His work has the power to make you see your own, the window into the world where those who sit behind desks, push papers, are fighting for your rights and your benefits. Yes, there are politicians that are taking your tax dollars, but Tristan shows that we are the people. The Inland Empire is his stomping grounds, and his world is available to peer into and listen to. His challenge to himself is to allow the reader to feel the same bohemian adventures that he has experienced. We grow with his work. We are there in that office, caring for the people he is serving. We are there leaning against the fence, drinking beer with strangers from Northern California. We are there with his lover, with his clumsy wishes that his father can meet the girl he adores. Tristan's work is predominantly centered on rhythm, on rhyme, but that's not every place where it extends to. He draws in characters and uses the emotion as a vehicle of delivery. Wiggy uses humor as a way to accentuate the meaning of his work, as well as invite the reader into his world, into his character. When I met Wiggy, the first thing I noted was his vocabulary. I would later learn this is called Wigtionary. Tristan combines cultural pigeonholes like hippie and hipster. His tones of his poetics are complex. You're not quite sure how serious he's being. It's hard to talk about poetics without talking directly about a poet's philosophy of life. That's Wiggy. You could have the most serious conversation and yet laugh your ass off entirely in the same breath. This love of life is what makes him such an accessible friend and poet, which to me are one and the same. I've grown to know Tristan as a writer who outlines the way we experience life here in the Inland Empire, and this little slice of heaven we have, but also as a comrade in this world where he grows and develops. I, too, learn from him and grow. Wiggy's work will teach you how to speak for others by first speaking for yourself. To quote his thesis, Wiggy says, "When I was 16 and bored in chemistry class, I would scrawl the phrase, 'Wiggy Woo!' on notebooks. But I would never utter it because I knew how ridiculous it was. Later that year, I conversed with poets and musicians in the Cucamonga Mountains, found myself analyzing the city-like organisms of the urban center below, describing everything as incredible, and joyously exclaiming, 'Wiggy Woo!' through the night. So exuberant were my Wiggy Woos that I've been Wiggy Woo to those close to me ever since. Wiggy's work calls to us to celebrate who we are, to make ourselves the best character we can be in this life, to write our stories in an epic way. Let him sing for us tonight. Tonight we are so fortunate to hear Tristan and the West Coast Avengers perform. We know Tristan Acker, friend, kind, loving voice of all of us. Wiggy Woo. Let's welcome TF to the stage, everybody with big Wiggy Woo!
This piece is Leno's Heartfelt Midnight. So this week I watched Jay Leno's last Tonight Show, and it was so much more moving than I thought it would be. My dad would love it when I would stay up with him to watch Jay Leno's headlines and funny winning announcements. You know, he was from the Midwest, and a lot of humor on the coast is for shock and envelope pushing. So he appreciated something universal and funny like Leno. You know, Leno's exit made me think about how my father's generation is leaving us and how I miss him. But what made me cry is when he brought out Garth Brooks, you know, to sing "I Got Friends in Low Places." I remember going to karaoke bars with my mom and her coworkers, you know, singing that song while I ate pizza and poured Pepsi out of pitchers. Something I didn't think about until now. My mom never gave the time of day to anyone who didn't appreciate me. My mom was younger than I am now when she dedicated her life to taking care of me. My earliest memories are of being in preschool with my mom. She would work tirelessly as a mom and in the workforce to make sure that I could one day have the choice to sit in air-conditioned rooms and talk about poetry. To make sure that I could have the choice to have good, productive, and positive people around me. And when I finally started taking care of myself, my mom was already working at a school in Rialto, dedicating herself to helping more kids yet, setting an example that influences me to this day. So now, you know, when I hear that song, I hear the populism in it more than ever. It reminds me that my mom is one of the reasons that the IE is special to me. It's a place that in the last quarter century, people started suburban lives and worked hard to give their kids the American dream. This poem is for those people and their families. Woo! Catty Dreams. This is Catty Dreams. You guys have probably heard that Lorde song, Royals. This is kind of my response to it. It's, you know, appreciate what you got. You don't need to dream about what pop stars tell you you need to have. Leave your Cadillac dreams in the seams of your pillow. We don't want to go to work every day, but we still go. For real though, your kinfolk, your mom and your dad, they're probably gonna regret that they promised you that. Look, I'm out in a Nissan Sentra from the West Coast Avengers. No tint, no rag top, desert concrete, backdrop, air conditioner blasting, seatbelt fastened, appetites chasing, not racing, all hasten. Got some basics, USB drive, auxiliary CD stereo, puffin' skinny doobies as I'm grooving through Ontario. It ain't a Lexus, but it's relaxing, sufficient. Inconspicuousness, please, no more tickets for this one. Leave your luxury sedans with your luxuries of plans and think more than catty dreams when you fucks with me again. again. Cause I heard him, you know, they're on some falsehoods, claptrap, doo-wop, rehash, throwback, kneecaps. We don't need that, dude. We caught you sleeping in your daydreams. Woo! And these cats are on some bullshit, ego, half-step, mind game, logo, no-go, YOLO. What are y'all doing? Acting like you criticize what they materialize, but you steady trying to live that fantasy. We're in that inland urban center with the linen turban weather. Mob here when the DOC could still do it better. Our folks wanted to keep us away from the Los Angeles cityscape, struggled in Los Angeles traffic, and wanted to get away, so take us to the suburbs. Baby, ignorant to the bad stuff, confused when we were 12. We brought them here, so why they act up? Mad nuts, consolidate the drugs until you track home. Munchies, crunchy high school boyfriends, they got a vacuum. Kids are not ergonomic mansions in crop circles. You could helicopter view them, they're copping a lot of purple. Couples on hot benches in the morning waiting for the bus. Rappers from real hoods steadily hating on us. So look, I'm sorry, Mr. Jay-Z and Tupac, that mom and dad raised me with more safety than you got. Keeping sister and mom calm while you sold crack and look hot. I understand that I'm probably not as cool as you, and that's the cost of being the middle class. I'm not hating on you, I know you wanted a little of that. Can't take the hood out the hoodster, but you brought the click here, cartoons like PBR, but we want some good beer. Stomach hurting, switch to bourbon, Dave Weigel, slate pitch. I like the teachers more than students, so they call me statist. But let me state this, so while you stay pissed, I'm trying to bust us how I'm learning inner workings of a matrix on some falsehoods. Claptrap, doo-wop, rehash, throwback, kneecaps. We don't need that, dude. We caught you sleeping in your daydreams. Woo! And these cats are on some bullshit. Ego, half-step, mind game, logo, no-go, YOLO. What are y'all doing? Acting like you criticize what they materialize, but you still trying to live that fantasy on some French toast. Bebop, milquetoast, seesaw, wigwam, jig jam, dip bop, tree hop. Woo! You can catch them sleeping in their daydreams. But we're on some West Coast, cool breeze, side notes, smooth trees, comic book, nerd truths, Wigtron, dip bomb. Woo! Got you sleeping in your daydreams. The West Coast Avengers catch us blazing in our daydreams. You guys blow me away every time. Churches. Professor Delgado helped me get this published in an anthology this year. I'm really stoked about it. Crucial churches. Men with great plans conspire and tinker under your nose. At the local bakery with low-fat milk and thin-coated plastic book, receipt, passport photo, wallet. Storefront churches, brown men, leaning on cars in the business district. Cars are dead machines. Weed is lubricant. At best, I'm lovable in a million thorny ways. Not for money, but for a good time. I know where I'm at. A city under spur camera. $12 per capita. Oreos in my lungs. We share something crucial. We are here. Yeah. They say the word empirical, means observable, based on the observable. So this is, I call this inland empirical, because it's based on what I observe. Well, that's the name of these. This is Fault Line Neighbors. There is a song in our hearts that you cannot hear, mainly because train tracks here are lined with bottles of beer. Kids with black shirts and bikes that would fracture the night, thrash against a cage until their backs hurted right. Storefront chapels rehabilitate gangster veterans. They hang with NAM veterans and American Legion residents. Steelworkers gone mechanic in short order. Homeless denizens. I stop by Shy Guy spot, say hi. His mom's just reticent because they shut down the cement plant at the Tannin Rancho. She can't retire, but the pension's rent is substantial. Hipsters in Montclair, stroking pens against banjos. Nathan said he used Ukes for the truth and some damsels. Shoplifting comics. With roadies from Hesperia, they come you down the hill, working Cucamonga area. Turned 21, got gigs at bars in the village. Back then inviting me on a petroleum pilgrimage. There is a painting in our eyes that you cannot see, because the smudge from the smog and the smoke from the weed. We got a P.O. box in most Tri-County parking lots, NorCal style gas break there for the start and stop. They talk about Vallejo, but not about Rialto, like we talk about Sopranos, but don't talk about the altos. Used to hate the tweakers, now I know I can't fault those whose parents just brought home empty promise-filled nachos. There is a feeling in my core that I don't want to ignore. Neighbors had no jumping signs, who grabbed their skateboards and soar. I have a feeling there's a mess for which I'll have to confess. Problems I should probably fix, instead I choose to express. I used to stop for troubled drivers on the freeway. Now I say I'm probably gonna help them later anyway. But first to bakers by the credit union, and hope walkers emerge from desert scapes as better humans. Woo! Okay. It's all effortless, like these guys blow me away. It's, whenever I rap on these guys' stuff, I feel like my mind is working out, you know. So it's like when I walk into a room with them, they have music set. I'm like, it's the hip hop gymnasium. Is this one? Yeah, cool. Drone whale, kind of new. See how good I have it. There's a hole in here. I must be. Okay. Let's see. All right. It's drafty in here. I must be writing again. Came a long way from painting our lives with our pens. We paint our lives with our works. I realize that's how it works. It tenses tendons and nerve with every master we serve. But don't despair, man. You don't gotta stay in Kabul, Afghanistan. You don't gotta worry about faulty armor. Neither do the soldiers. The robots will go far. The operator has a daughter. I'm in favor of the drone that allows fathers, sisters, and daughters to come home. Easy to get caught up in analysis on that cost-benefit paralysis. Trying to take the cost of a grandmother's dialysis. Legislators say support a security state. The same folks that used to advocate for purity's sake. We've seen these perfidy plays from these subservient days, when the proletarian carrier said we deserve what we take. Now we have snows in our heart. Whales are supposed to be smart. Hold them in chosen regard. That's why we work them so hard. Why ain't they working on a scientist spin? Why ain't they find a way to elevate themselves much higher than men? Escape the cage we made and learn to fly in the wind. Why is existence not a war that God is trying to win? Woo! Actually, the title is the first two sentences. When I was 20, I went up to Sacramento by myself to take a civil service exam with the state to be a clerk. I traversed 3rd Street looking for young people like me that would want to party a bit. Saw some punkers, one bulky, spiky Latino, the other a little red-headed white guy. Told them I'd put in on beer and cigarettes so they could help me find a sack of herb. We knocked it all out in 15 minutes on the same block. Chatted up a hippie chick who saw us on our errands. And before sundown, we were all leaning on a brown fence, cracking beers, sparking weed and tobacco. And because it was NorCal, there was nothing to worry about. These cats are all like, yo, I hear you guys can't even hang out in front of the liquor store down there in the IE. Is that true? I'm like, hell yeah, that's true. Let's send the riot squad of 50 brown cats are whooping it up at 7-Eleven in Ontario or some shit. Northern California. It's always cool and sunny. To me, it's a Twilight Zone given. Oh, yeah. Yeah! When I get to work on time, Jimmy Hopper rejoices. I get up out the dirt, give working people a voice. We make our grits. Off of medical services, call center reassurances, customers losing nervousness when I get to work on time. See the job is rejoice. Latino bureaucrats is back. I'm sending you an invoice. No ditch digging, but the bitch of it is the privilege relinquished if you had to picture your kids like some factory girls with small hands and gears. We roll with lunch pails full of demands for the years. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. I am a hippie with the government. I'm here to help. I'm Ronald Reagan's worst nightmare. nightmare. I'm trying to spread that life here to everybody in the state of California right here. Taxpayer loving is a tree that I cannot sit under. Don't wanna pay teachers well and then wonder why you get hell. Or now you fail that budget polls the city boss fire from Hellcats. They start the beast. So go ahead and tell that to Governor Huey Long and other corrupt populace for Randy Newman songs. Actually, as soon as I'm done saying this, we can go right to another beat. I just wanted to take a moment to thank the three mentors I have. You know, I have Chad Sweeney, I have Juan Delgado, and Julie Pagel. And ridiculously thoughtful attention. They somehow find the time and strength to constantly give us, you know, a lot of this wouldn't be possible, and I'm so ridiculously grateful for their influence in my life and in my work. Alright. This is Route 66 Revisited. Because if you ask me and Sham are kind of like Rimbaud and Baudelaire. Rhyme sayers with sick flows and loud hair. Whoa, what you got there? A rock lair? Sediment and sentiment. Don't be so damn reticent. That issues to your detriment. Shyness is nice, but whiteness is right. Best not to start your swears like some whiteness on rice and whiteness alright. Anglo, give me some more. Give me a 50 sack of that with upland hipsters to go. Man, I'm so bullish on San Bernardino that I bought a house in it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I find her fault line and put my mouth in it. River Cityans on prime meridians. I've known funky bros that's chillin', hippie kids that act like idiots. I've known public workers and undertakers, the undeserved and wonder makers, whatever player. We used to bump the Kill Bill soundtrack down to jumping jacks with blunt sacks twist around the back. And what we found is that when you're in the business district, the cops ain't really got no business with you. They're just out to stop and frisk a populace loud enough to get honest. That's not to be a dramatist, but it's just my honestness. Don't be scruffy at Day Creek and Baseline. They gotta keep Victoria Garden. They ain't trying to waste time. They could take away your freedom in a second. And they're less concerned with your record than if you're acting disrespectful like Obama. I've been quiet in the reaction to when the riots hit. Gotta be careful like a cat. But my heart feels like a lion in it, trying hit it, target spinning like that man aims to market women, chaplains in the darkness sinning, dog. I'm out to win it and I'm tired of being denied just cause I was born under a certain piece of the sky. I wonder why there wasn't more days like these where I can't feel my knees after I blaze my trees. They call it FDR, say it won't get me far. Commute the kingdom or the measure of an empty car. Actually, guys, I must have been planning this pretty tightly because I think we're about done here. Got one. What you know about some brand X amps and stove tops? What you know about building ramps and outhouses with robots? We show stop, we used to go ride the whip. 2007, while forgetting just the time it. I was dancing on a roof on a block I grew up on LSD. Nah, it sounds just like Beatles' silly love songs. More MFAs with foreign bands like Bell and Sebastian. Were we not red tape outfits of cause-cutting actions? I'm okay with square shapes, but I am a star shape. We on neon levels on the pier at the arcade. My heart hurts, it needs sugar and strawberries. Legislation to protect it with the weight that the law carries. Cause in the long run, I'll be alright. And at this point, I'm just trying to see all night. So embrace the lethargy, embrace the Martian, embrace the taste that's laced in the ace that we sparking. I'm parking in the red zone, droids under the dead zone. Voices echo, and that's probably why we speaking on the headphones. Bob Dylan took himself from Judas, the preacher, and to Brutus, though he no longer believed words. But he had to serve somebody, earn somebody, urge somebody. Should I deserve somebody? While I'm on that working class grind, duct tape, duct apart, and a hurtin' ass mind, a sporting kind that likes to give a head start. No one wants to make the dough, but all it takes the bread part. Look, lots of people like talking to Tristan, but he has limited time. What can you offer to this one with a rockier intuition? Sometimes a jocular disposition, cause now you got me with time missing from the 909 missions that I'd otherwise be doing if desire wasn't fluid. We work full time for broke state bureaucracies. The Dylan blues is back. He used to sing about democracy, then he sang about divorce, then he sang about Jesus, then he sang about Israel, then he say he don't believe us, we was smart, and that is why they call us the unfortunate ones. Some men are millennials who can't afford some sons. Air and water we can hardly secure for me. Now there's little weeds that need that itch for perpetuity. Look, between you and me, there's rumors of scrutiny before you procreate scribbly and think it's all good because you're gluten free. Truthfully, you could play the world's too sad exclusive me, but having eyes is tuned to see the truth could be so brutally, so totally. I know I got pitfalls too. Mainly cause I tell you every time that I call you, and it's all true. My dad said such ideas were lukewarm. Disdain my cultural relativism. Knew him in truth form. Sometimes I want me in truth form, but first give me new norms. So when the needy come stampeding, cities survive more than 2 storms. Alright, you guys. I think I timed it so we can do one more, huh? Okay.
2 more!
We'll see where we're at after one. Yes. All right. We drank the DOC's formula, read political phenomena. Took our time and listened to the learned astronomer explain how we were when we visited Andromeda. Sweat the tears that bleed from a burning philosopher. So who's the hippie mafia? We're trying to rig thermometers. Middle class problems like the sun, they stay on top of ya. Came here to cool down, not to be popular. We always told the truth, but we aim to be honest. You're young for a long time. I came with the wrong line. Till Princess stays in space and then the hate gave me a broad mind. I used to ride in rawhide, now I fight apartheid. Them leaders that was smart lied and led us to the dark side. I could have been a barfly, but now I eat my vegetables. The IE is a vestibule. We tested for the rest of you, lest you become infectable to the boredom and the Anglo one. Finding more than dinosaurs with scratching palm bites. Now the fighters run oases on irregular bases. Young peace tends to be a house of cards like Kevin Spacey. They'll spend a lot of time erasing the dividers when we're racing through some legal troubles, cause eagles hover over grad students with empty cabinets. Last time we were thirsty, this time the savages are ravenous. The habit is our habitat, is where we got our habitat. Head bar, Death Star, the Inland Empire strikes back. 951 to the 909. Find your fun, but find your grind. Found the one, but find your mind. A lot of work in school to do, but not a lot of time, because the 951 to the 909. Find your fun, but find your grind. Found the one, but find your mind. A lot of work in school to do, but not a lot of time. Thank you.